Welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly Tuesday night show all about cigars. And we have an esteemed panel here today. On my right, we have Rob.
Hello, everybody.
And to his right, we have Paul.
Hello.
And to his right, we have Scott. And to his right, we have the lovely Miss Tia.
Hi.
And Miss Caroline is here joining us today, and she's going to be presenting us with our first cigar.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I like her outfit.
You like her outfit?
I do.
Thank you.
They should make them like that for men.
Am I getting too old? I was kind of looking at the
They
cigars.
should.
Well, I
Really?
think it's
Well,
neat
you're-
that she matches the cigar.
Oh,
They're
thank
slim-
you.
they're
Oh, you
very-
forgot Paul. Oh, you got it. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Her outfit is very slim.
It is
Now,
very
now, why is there a sixth cigar
There's
on
a
there?
myrtle on there.
For a mystery smoker.
Our mystery smoker?
oh yeah.
Mystery smoker, everybody.
Do tell.
All right, you better go take care of them. Or him, or her, or whoever.
Or her.
It.
Well, I think it's time for Miss Tia to tell us about our first cigar.
Our first cigar is the Flor de las Antillas, which is named after the Antillas Islands. The wrapper, the binder, and the filler are all Nicaraguan, which makes it, guys.
Nicaraguan
Nicaraguan.
Puro.
The sizes are a Bellicoso, Robusto, Toro, and my favorite, a Toro Gordo. The taste is notes of nutmeg, white pepper, and just enough strength without overpowering your palate. So, what's the first topic?
Well, I think before we go to the first topic, I just want to remind everybody to take off the footband.
Really?
Yeah, good idea.
Oh,
You have to remind
this
people
is
of
a
that?
footband.
It will change the taste of the cigar,
You
but
sure?
probably should not be smoked.
Definitely changed it. I thought it enhanced it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a
Look, I
vintage
brought my own
footband.
punch today, so nobody has to cry about
cool.
me licking
Very
my
nice.
cigar first.
Our first topic today is going to be, what does body, strength, and flavor mean? Well, I think Scott, you're a flavor and body guy, so
My body's much different, yes.
it is. It's much
He's
smaller.
got that myrtle on.
Did you have that?
Are you smoking like diet cigars?
Yes. Yes, light cigars.
I'm gonna say that all show.
Body strength and flavor. And I think flavor pretty much and strengths speak for themselves. Where a lot of people get mixed up is in the body, and what body really refers to is, I guess, the smoke and how it actually fills and hits all the different parts of your mouth. Whereas strength is obviously how strong the cigar is, or what we refer to as a fuller cigar. And then flavor really means what it tastes. But I think a lot of people get mixed up between strength and body. And I think we all refer to, when we talk about a cigar being full bodied, I think we all still mean that it's a strong cigar.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of that plays to how much nicotine is in the cigar.
The strength does, yeah.
Strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of nicotine, is the Lajero part of the plant is that the one that contains more of the nicotine?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Cool.
The double Haro, forget
fact,
about it.
Once upon a time, Carlito Fuente announced to the world at large that as far as he was concerned, nicotine equals flavor. And the more nicotine there is, the more flavor you're going to get.
That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah, very
That's what he said.
interesting.
And it's cool, back to the body, is that they use different parts of the tobacco plant, the Seco, the Velato, and the Lajero, and you'll feel those in different parts of your mouth. And that's a lot where the body comes from.
I notice oftentimes when I smoke a Don Pepin cigar, any of the brand, doesn't matter, but his cigars tend to have a very identifying quality to them. When you first light them up, there's a rush of spice.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much.
And then about a quarter in or so, they tend to mellow out.
That's very much his style as a blender. He looks for ways
Yeah.
to kick you up at the beginning and then settle down.
But that makes me want to put the cigar down. You know, when it's too much in the beginning, it's
Well,
like
you got to get by that. You got to get by that.
past it. I
Yeah.
know.
Is
It's
that as
hard.
much as
it's rough.
Is that as much as that it's blended like that, or is it also just a lot of Nicaraguan cigars or cigars made with Nicaraguan tobacco? You get that also,
No,
or does he specifically blend it?
He
He
blends
blends
it
it.
on
Yeah,
purpose
yeah.
that way. In fact, about 2 years ago, Don Pepin first started using Ecuadorian tobacco, and specifically what he was looking for was Ecuadorian Sumatra, which can be very spicy, because he wanted that spice hit at the beginning.
I don't like that. That's probably why I don't like Don Pepin cigars.
Yeah,
Because of that
it's
first
not a
spice
taste.
that you
That's
get.
why that's probably why I do like it.
Really,
Yeah,
I don't
I mean,
like
it's-
getting, I don't like getting hit in the face at any
Exactly.
sort
Yeah.
of cigar. I like the build up and
Okay.
then
Mhm.
and then enjoy it that way.
Fair enough.
That's why they do
That's
make
true.
strawberry in addition to vanilla and chocolate.
And
Another
tutti
cool
frutti.
thing is
And tutti
another cool
frutti.
thing about this is one of the few. This is a sun-grown wrapper. It's
Right.
a Nicaraguan, but and it's also a sun-grown, and that does change the flavor slightly.
Like, so that helps a lot too.
And the band.
And the band.
And the band.
Oh, you know I like the band. Come on. How sexy the band
I
is.
kind of
Like, you kidding
assumed
me?
that. I
Yeah,
kind
right.
of
A
Almost
man and a
goes
woman on
without
there.
saying.
Oh, I love it.
Well, go take a look real closely
Uh-huh.
at the insignia inside the box of a Costa Rey.
Oh.
You'll when
Really?
you see it, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Is that an R-rated insignia?
It is pretty much an R-rated, but no,
Yeah.
you know they've been doing it for 100 years, and nobody really picks up on it because it's artwork
Yeah,
Of course.
or a work of art.
something like that. Yeah.
So you guys,
Well, speaking of works of art, don't we have some upcoming events?
we do.
I think
Yeah.
Scott had something to say first.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I was
Oh, sorry.
I was actually going to ask you guys, what do you think about the strength of, like, I know we're going to review the cigar flavors and otherwise, but the topic is strength.
It's
and
mellowed
bodies.
a little bit now.
Has it?
It has for me a little
It
bit.
definitely started out spicy, and I'm getting it's sweet right now.
Yeah, I'm getting that sweet taste too.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a very sweet finish to it, and I would call this no more than medium at the
This
strongest.
I think this is one of Pepin's milder.
Well,
Yeah,
Yes.
so let's
exactly.
save that
Yes.
for the
For
end.
the reviews.
Save it for the
Well, let's be
reviews.
clear.
Sorry.
This is not branded as a Pepin cigar.
No.
No.
Well, my father.
My
My
father.
father's cigar company. Yeah.
Yes.
So if it's my father's cigar, it must be the son.
From the daughter.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's my
Jaime.
father's cigar
It's Jaime.
company.
Jaime's the best
Jaime.
blender now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pepin spends most of he's really he's in the growing end of the business now. But he's turned over, and
He's
I guess
out in the
Yanni-
field like
Isn't
somebody
his
else.
daughter
would
in
know.
there?
Out
as
in
well?
the field,
She's in
yeah.
there.
Stole your line, Paul.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
Are we ready to talk
Isn't
about
the daughter in she makes?
Yeah,
Yes,
she
she's
makes
in
the
it as
La,
well.
La
Yeah.
Buena, which I think is a very good
Yeah.
cigar.
I
Yeah.
like that. You know what? I like that cigar too. I really do.
The new one that just came out.
No, the La Duena. It's been out a few years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a year.
About a year.
I
Came
don't
out
think I
last
had
year.
that one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Right, I
wow.
think it came out right around the same time this one came out.
Okay.
Cool. Are we ready to talk about events?
Sure. We got
Okay.
the we have an event with a number of our stores with Alec Bradley. It is going to be on. I'm going to make sure I get this right. The 15th and 16th of October. Is that right?
November.
November. Yeah, it's already passed.
You did
Yeah,
that on purpose.
yeah.
Brilliant. And it's going to be in our Horsham store from 11 to 3. We'll have it in Colmar. These are both on Friday from 4 to 8. Then we're going to switch over to Saturday. We'll be in Phoenixville from 11 to 3. And then our Oxford Valley store from 4 to 8. We'll have lots of specials. You'll get to meet the rep from Alec Bradley.
He's cool.
Yeah, he is.
He's very
Jonathan,
cool.
yeah,
He's
he's a
fun.
cool guy.
Yeah. I think they have a lot of great cigars.
Yeah,
too.
they do.
I really like the new
Lot of
ones.
So
swag.
I'm really
A lot
happy.
of
Oh,
swag.
I like that
And
swag.
a lot of good
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah.
Alex Bradley, we are going to bring some really good deals.
And their
those
boxes
days.
are
Cool.
look awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got
some-
some
bands.
Right, and your
And the
bands.
bands. Yeah.
Yes.
Can't forget the bands.
Never can forget the band.
You
Yeah.
know, bands will make her dance. I had to say that.
Well, as many of you listeners over the month and now viewers over the last few weeks have said to us, you really enjoy the segment of Paul in the factory or Paul in the field. Well, we're going to bring him in from the field today, and we're going to put him in the factory where he's going to talk about
Well, what I'm going to talk about today is a bunch of stuff, literally.
a bunch. I
Oh,
like that. That's really cool.
We're going to talk
Nice.
about bunching. If you remember in previous weeks, we talked about growing the tobacco, we talked about sorting it, we talked about fermenting it, and we talked about blending it. So now you have an assortment of tobaccos that are the formula for the cigar you want to make. Now begins the process of actually making the cigar. And the first step in that process is called bunching. And basically bunching is when you take the various filler leaves that make up the blend and you bunch them together and wrap them in a binder. Interestingly,
What-
there's
What's a binder?
binders
For I know what it is.
For the audience.
Yeah, for the audience.
For
Yeah.
our viewing audience.
for our viewing audience. A binder is a leaf that's designed to burn at a very steady rate to hold the bunch tobacco filler together. It's typically very similar to a wrapper leaf, except it's usually thicker and
Okay.
it's not as aesthetically pleasing, so you don't use it as a wrapper.
Does it come from a specific part on the plant?
That varies very
Okay.
widely because you can use binder to change the flavor of the cigar. And it's typically the slowest burning leaf
Right.
within the whole mix.
Mhm.
But bunching is not as simple and straightforward as you might think for a couple of reasons. First of all, the way you bunch the tobacco has more to do with how that cigar is going to smoke than any other single element. Is it going to draw right? Is it going to have soft spots? Is it going to canoe? Or is it just going to put out tons of smoke and burn nice and slow? All of that comes out of the way that it's bunched. And there are many different ways to do that. Um, the most common way right now is what's called machine bunching. It's not a machine made cigar, it's machine bunching, but that is not the kind of machine that you might think. The bunching machine that rollers mostly use, and there'll be a picture of it, but it looks almost like the little machines that you use to make your own cigarettes. It's got a belt, and you lay the tobacco into it, and you pull that belt, and it rolls the tobacco and tightens it. And then they take it out of that bunching machine and put it in the binder. So that's one method.
Can you vary the tightness of the roll?
Yeah, there are little
Adjustments,
knurled screws on either side of
Okay.
the buncher that allow you to tighten it or loosen it.
Okay.
So that, and it varies by country. In Honduras, for example, the buncher is not the same person as the roller. They work in teams.
Right.
Right.
So the two of them will sit at a table together, and one of them is constantly bunching and putting the bunches into the binder and then into the molds. And we'll talk about molds next week.
That's just a strictly Honduran thing.
It's mostly
Or most-
Honduran, a little bit in Nicaragua, but in most of the other cigar producing countries, instead of working in teams, one person will make the bunches, put them in the molds, and then take other cigars out of the molds and put on the wrappers.
No kidding.
No.
Paul, is there any disadvantage or advantage of two-man or two-person, I should
Two-person,
say?
because
Yeah.
a lot of
versus
them are
one per-
women.
Yeah, I know. I've been to a lot of factories. So, I mean, you see any advantage of that, 2 over 1?
I don't really see an advantage to that, except if you're using the bunching machine,
Right.
that person on the team can crank out a whole lot of bunches
Yeah.
really fast,
Right.
much faster than a wrapper can sit and a torsador
Finish it.
to actually finish the
Finish it, yeah.
cigars. But that's not the only method. There is conventional hand bunching. It's also called booking.
Okay,
And the reason it's called booking is the roller will actually take the individual leaves of filler and fold them over each other, then lay them in their palm and roll the whole thing together, and then put that in a binder. The third method is a very old method. It comes from Cuba. It's old school, although a few people have
Yeah.
started doing it again, and that's called N2 bar rolling or N2 bar bunching. And in that case, instead of doing the booking method, what the roller will do is take each of the individual leaves that go into the filler and roll that leaf by itself into a little tube, like a straw. And they'll take all of the straws that make up the filler of the cigar and bunch those together and wrap that in a binder. Obviously, that's much more time consuming. It's much more of a craft that you have to master. So it's a more expensive way to go. But there are some real advantages to using the N2 bar method because it allows the air to move through each of the filler leaves individually. It allows that air to carry more flavor through to you, and it makes for a better draw all the
Right.
way through the cigar.
So which one is is there one better than the other, or like one you prefer? Like which one do you prefer?
I personally prefer booking, and I am not a big fan of the bunching machine, although
Okay.
it is the most common method. I'm just not a big fan of it because I like everything to be by hand.
Yeah.
And in Ecuador, at my factory, we don't use teams. Everything is done by one
One
person
man, yeah.
at a time.
Nice.
And it's all booking. We don't do N2 bar, and we don't use the machine.
But doesn't Entivar lead to almost no plug cigars?
If it's done by someone who knows what they're doing, a skilled roller
Obviously.
making an into-bar cigar, it will never be plugged. But it's not very forgiving. So
Oh, yeah,
a roller that
yeah.
not really up to snuff trying to do an into-bar, you're going to have a mess.
A golf ball through a straw.
Wow.
If you're lucky.
Is
So
that
if
why
he's
they
mad
don't?
at his wife or something like that,
Or husband.
her husband.
Is that why so few companies use that method?
No, I think the reason why so few use it is that it is more time consuming, it is more expensive, and since fewer people know how to do it,
Right.
there isn't a labor pool of guys that are just ready to do an into bar.
Gotcha.
Well, that was most informative, as always.
Fascinating.
Thank you very much.
Fascinating.
And we'll.
Thank you, Paul.
I
Oh,
was
you
done, and
Okay.
next week we'll talk about what happens to the cigar after it's in a binder, because
Ooh,
that's a
nice.
whole. There's
not
a
a
whole
cigar
nother
yet.
thing. It's almost a cigar.
Almost a cigar.
All right.
It actually can be smoked at that point.
Yeah, but it
We're
won't
going to
taste
talk
like
about now who is your favorite actor who smokes cigars?
Can I go
Rob
first?
Pascucci.
Wait a second. That was a
Toast
nice
the cigar.
setup.
Come on, hit me with the cigar.
I can see Rob's friend watching this right now.
Yeah.
Or did I say
Yeah,
friend?
friend,
I meant friends.
Friend, yeah.
Rob's friends watching this right now and their reaction to it.
And then it cuts off.
That was good,
How are
though.
you waiting to say that?
It's not going to be
It
pleasant.
just came. I swear, it just came to me.
It did say favorite actors who smoke cigars,
Ooh.
not
My
just
favorite.
any old actor
Right,
that
exactly.
smokes cigars.
Thank
my
you, Scott. I
my
appreciate
favorite
it.
actor who smokes a cigar.
Does anybody want to
I
start
would like
off?
to go first.
Yeah.
My favorite actor is Charlie Sheen. I love him. I didn't really know that he smoked cigars until I watched 2.5 Men, which was one of my favorite shows. And, he just makes cigar smoking look cool, and tasty. And
It is cool.
well, it is.
And it
I
is
said he made
tasty.
it look cool. 2.5 Men came out in what, 2002, and I was young, then. So I'm still young, but a little bit younger. And it just made it look like, oh, I want to try that cigar,
So it's Charlie Sheen's fault that you're a cigar
Yes,
smoker
it's
today?
Charlie Sheen's fault. Thank you, Charlie Sheen.
I like Al Pacino in Scarface.
Yeah.
He's
So
smoking a
sick.
cigar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He always had a cigar in his mouth.
Oh,
in that
yeah.
movie.
Seemed that way anyway.
I'll go with Andy Garcia just because I
Yeah.
love the movie The Lost City.
Lost
which,
City,
Of course,
yeah.
there's a cigar named after
Great
it.
cigar.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Great
It's
cigar.
a fantastic
Great
cigar.
cigar.
And
Absolutely,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've ever seen that movie, but it's a fantastic movie.
Is it? I've never seen it.
It's really
What's the
good.
movie called again?
The
Lost
Lost City.
City.
Just like
Oh.
just like the cigar we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And how they made the cigar was they took all the Carlito Fuente grew tobacco specifically for this movie, and after the movie they cultivated the tobacco and they made the cigar from it.
Cool.
But it is it's a really really good movie.
I'll throw in my favorite, Arnold.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Arnold.
You sound just like him.
He does.
Yeah.
Sure.
Say, I'll be back.
All the time.
Oh boy,
Oh, that bad. It was.
that was
Pretty bad.
Not
That
quite
was
good.
terrible.
You're not ready for your turn as the Ashmanator.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's a Hollywood celebrity who's done more for cigars than Arnold.
Arnold.
Well, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Sylvester
gonna say
Stallone.
so.
How about Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Well, he's done a lot for those little
Yeah, it's a cigar.
domestic
Smoke
stuff,
Yeah,
you
but it's
know,
still a cigar.
the stuff we kind of look down our noses.
The ones that I
at.
like.
Yeah.
yeah, those.
Yeah.
Well, I got to come from deep left field
Okay.
because my favorite cigar smoking actor is Kathy Bates.
Oh, that's cool.
Which
that's
which
cool.
sounds really weird, but if you're a Charlie Sheen 2.5
Yeah,
Men fan, you might remember that there was an episode, one of the first episodes after Charlie Sheen left the show, where his brother Alan
Right.
is haunted by the ghost of Charlie, and the
That was
ghost of
hilarious.
Charlie is played by Kathy Bates, who sits
yeah.
around swilling bourbon and scotch and smoking cigars.
Yeah, I saw that
It's
episode.
hysterical.
I actually saw that
Are you
episode.
serious?
Oh, that's
It was
The one
hysterical.
episode.
That's got to
It
be
was
hysterical.
hysterical. I think it was on this year.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's really good. I mean, in general, as an
Yeah.
actress,
Yeah,
she's really
she's
good.
awesome.
And she really looked natural smoking the cigar.
Really?
She wasn't forcing it.
Speaking of 2.5 Men, Demi Moore.
Demi Moore? Yeah, she smokes cigar.
Yes, that's true.
Remember, the Cigar Aficionado used to have, they had Bruce Willis on the cover,
Right,
who's another big
right,
cigar,
right.
and then Demi Moore was on the, oh, actually, no,
Wasn't
she
she
was
on
on
the-
the, she was
She
on the
was on
cover,
the
and
cover.
he was
Yeah,
on
he
the
was-
ad
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
cover.
But didn't she wasn't in the movie, the Charlie Angels movie? Didn't she have a cigar? I could have sworn
I don't
she
remember.
smoked a cigar in that movie. No, she had her big guns, but I could have sworn she had a cigar.
Gina Gershon, she's another cigar smoker.
Oh, I didn't know
Is
that
she?
one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
She was on
Wait,
the
we're
cover
gonna-
of Cigar
You're
Aficionado.
going to go to that level. How about Gabby Hayes?
Sonia Henry.
So, yeah,
I don't think Sonia
I
Hayes
don't think she
smokes
smokes
cigars.
cigars.
It was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
I'm serious. Gabby Hayes smokes cigars.
I believe you.
Clark Gable smokes cigars.
Gabby
Does
Hayes
that mean
was.
I'm just old?
Could be.
Yeah.
You've all heard of these people, correct?
We have. How about Milton Berle?
Milton Berle was a big-time cigar
Berle.
smoker. George Burns.
Bill Murray.
Oh, what about the actor
Cool,
comedian
man.
guy with the glasses? What's his
Groucho
Groucho?
Marx.
Didn't he?
Groucho
Groucho
Marx.
Marx,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow,
One for the old books.
Wow.
Thank
Mario
you.
Ryder.
I like when Rob's impressed with my knowledge.
A little bit, yeah.
I love
A little bit.
He won't admit it, but he often is.
No.
Yeah, he is.
Well, I think we covered that subject pretty well. I think it's time to review our cigar,
Wow.
which
That's
is what? I love the way
Which
you
is-
pronounce it.
Do
so
you
go ahead and
really?
pronounce- Oh, I
The
love
Flor
to
de
hear it.
las Antillas.
Oh, is that, man,
Thank
that's,
you. You know I'm a little Spanish.
yeah, I know.
Hence the name Tia.
So why don't we start out? Let you start out.
At first when I lit it up, I was gonna put it down, but I really think, as you keep smoking, it gets a lot milder. Not too much, but just enough. That white pepper taste kind of goes away a little bit, like a sweet flavor comes in. Not something I would pick up every day, but I'd take this to the bar and smoke. Did I just say
Which
that?
You
bar?
did.
Which
I don't
bar?
want to plug the bar yet because I want
Uh-oh.
to tell them I'm going to plug
Uh-oh.
the bar.
Oh,
So we'll
there
see.
you go.
We'll see. If we
Ah,
get
And we
there.
won't
Look at
talk
that.
about and we
Look
won't
at
talk
this.
about barbecue either.
Wow.
Yeah, when pigs fly.
When pigs fly. Scott?
There's a reason this was the #1 cigar of the year. If you're into the ratings, it got a 96. It is a fantastic cigar. I love everything made by Don Pepin, or my father. It started off just like we described earlier. It started off with like a blast of pepper, and then right after that, I started to get some really. I still have it actually. Some really sweet flavors. This is in one of my top 10 cigars.
Cool.
Well, I have to completely agree with you. I think this is the best cigar that Pepin puts out. And the reason that I like it so much is it's not quite as powerful or heavy as most of his other stuff, but it's way, way more complex and engaging. It's constantly changing the whole time you smoke.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the best cigar Don Pepin makes. You do get that big blast of power in the beginning, which I normally don't like, but then the way it smooths out and becomes real complex, it's just fantastic, and it really gets to my flavor profile.
As full of a strength that it has, it really does. It's not overpowering. It's
No.
not
Right.
knock you make yourself dizzy. It's
Doesn't
very,
burn
very
the back
smooth.
of your tongue either.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Well,
I mean, you
there's-
get
there's
that
no
blast
harshness or
of
bite to
the
it, even
spice,
during-
but
Right.
it doesn't burn. It's just
Right.
it's
It's
you're
a
not
very,
used to
very-
that spice. It's like like,
very, very tasty cigar.
Yeah.
it is tasty
It's
though.
tasty cigar.
Yeah.
Now, as a new feature,
What about you?
none of it. Well, I just said it's a very tasty cigar. There's not much more I can add.
That's the review?
It's
Wow.
complex. It's spicy. It's a little creamy. Has a sweet finish. Anything else?
Yes,
All right.
it's box press, so when you put it
Box
down, it
press.
won't roll away.
Yeah, it'll roll off the
round,
table.
it'll
Roll off the table.
That's
Hey,
cool.
see? Doesn't roll off the table.
It's
And
Soft.
as
Soft.
a new segment of our show today, we're going to introduce our mystery smoker. We cannot
Ooh.
see him.
And
He
you
is
can't eat
hidden out of sight.
We really can't see 'em.
You really can't see him. And he's going to give you his review.
Well, this is definitely a medium to medium full cigar. It has a very, very sweet finish, and it's creamy, and surprisingly, with all that, it still continues to provide that nice peppery flavor that Don Pepin is known for. It's a wonderful cigar.
Look how long I held the ash.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Thank
Well, I
you,
think,
mystery
uh,
smoker.
I think it's time now to put
Thank
a...
you, Mystery Smoker.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
you.
Smoker. We can't see you, but thank
Yeah.
you.
well, now
Are
we
we
know
going
he's
to
a
be
guy.
rating this cigar?
Should we put... I was just going to say, should we put a number on
Yes,
it?
and the ratings are it's 1 to 5.
1 to 5,
cigars,
yeah.
Okay, or I guess 0 to 5. Yes.
Well,
Nah, okay, we'll do 1 to
we're
5.
not
I'd
going to
hate
smoke
to think
anything.
of what
Yeah,
would
that's
be
it.
zero.
All right. I just wanted to be politically correct. I'll go first. I'm gonna go. You guys are gonna be shocked. 4.50.
Wow.
Wow.
Boy, she's a
Wow.
tough grader, too.
Yes,
Didn't I tell you I was gonna be shocked?
It's because of the band.
I think
Yeah,
so.
the band.
Bands and maker
And Scott?
I have to go 4.75. I can't go quite 5 because it is not the best cigar that Pepin makes.
Okay.
Well, I also go 4.75 just because almost nothing is ever perfect.
Touche.
But this is damn close.
Yeah.
Or darn close, excuse me.
Yeah, I disagree with Scott. I think this is the best cigar Pepin
Wow.
makes. I give it a 4.75 also, though.
I'm not a huge Pepin guy. I like some of their cigars. This is obviously one of my favorite Pepin cigars. And I would go with a 4.75 and not be embarrassed by it.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So
think
was a little
it's a
low.
good cigar. It's definitely a good cigar.
Wait, what is your favorite? I have to know. What is your favorite Pepin? Because
It's the Tatuaje Cajono.
is that the first one they ever came out with?
No, it's the most recent one that came out.
Oh, okay.
And the
But
broad
Tatuaje was the first
Cajono
brand that they.
2012.
Yeah.
I think we should go
But
to our
Tatuaje was the first brand that they ever
we
made.
should go to
right?
our mystery
No.
smoker for his ratings.
No.
We should go to our mystery smoker. Mystery smoker, sign in, please.
I see this as a solid 4.5. Give it a 4.50.
Oh, you're
right
right.
with-
You're
Somebody
right with
agrees
Tia
with
on
me.
that.
I will
you,
do a quick
mystery
tabulation
smoker.
of the numerical scoring. Remember, it is 0 to 5, and it comes out at a 4.69.
Thank you, Math Whiz.
How's that?
4.6.
All right.
Wow.
I just want to remind
that?
everybody we have 7 stores in the Philadelphia metropolitan area and Midwestern Jersey somewhere. I don't know where Freehold is. Freehold.
Yeehaw.
And you can view all our antics, all our stores, or our specials, or our videotapes, whatever you want to see, at our website at cccigars.com. That's CCCigars.com. Thanks, gang. Thanks for leaving me hanging out there on the island.
Mystery
smoker.
I
Got you, huh?
don't remember.
That's his job.
I think it's time now. We're out of time, actually. So I think it's time to say goodbye.
Bye bye for now.
Goodbye, and don't forget to go to the website that we just mentioned, and I'll leave your email, go to our Facebook page, and send in pictures of you and your friends smoking cigars. We'll put them on the air.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Absolutely.
cool.
Smoke often and smoke happy, guys.
Ciao for now.
And thank you very much for your patronage, and we hope to see you in the humidor. Bye-bye, and see you next week. And this weekend's upcoming event is going to be brought to you by Max. Max, take it away.
Well, we're doing one of our famous buy 5, get 6 free promotions.
Whoa, wait a minute. You buy 5 and you get 6 free?
Yeah, that's right, Art. We're going to be selling buy 5 of any of your favorite cigars that we have on display here, plus many others from Alec Bradley, Romeo and Juliet, Trinidad, La Gloria Cubana, and Rocky Patel, among others.
I'm sure there's lots more, right?
Yes,
Well, how in the world can you do that?
because our crack buying department went all out, beat them up, all those manufacturers, and say, what have you got great that we can sell our customers?
And by beating them up, I guess we took them in the back and border them?
That's against the law.
Oh, not if you're Dick Cheney. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry about that. But I mean, I'm really looking forward. Are we going to have enough people in the stores to ring up all these
we're
sales?
going to be fully staffed. We're going to have our cigar girls at several of our stores over the weekend. And we're going to have plenty of staff for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday promotion at all 7 cigar locations. Well, we work hard at it, as you know.
Max, you never cease to amaze me. Did I say amaze enough times?
I don't know.
I hope our customers are going to be amazed.
Well, I hope so.
Thank you, John.